There was something about the air here. It was clean, pure, and it had a fragrance to it I hadn't encountered before. It was something the trees released into the atmosphere around them. I pulled a long breath into my lungs, holding it there as I stared out at the scene below. Craggy mountain tops, still topped with snow, shifted into heavily forested slopes, which met up with a pristine lake. I sucked in another breath. It was beautiful, peaceful, largely untouched by humans in all the ways we could fuck things up. An arm came around my shoulders. "It's beautiful, right?" Carter asked. I glanced at my best friend. Her strawberry blonde hair was piled on top of her head in a haphazard attempt to keep it out of her face while we hiked to the top of this lookout. "It is. I'm so glad my mom recommended it." Her words were cut off as color leached from her face, and she dropped her arms from my shoulder. "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have—" This time, it was me cutting her off. "You can talk about your mom, Carter." "Okay." Her words trailed off, and an awkward silence descended on us. It had been 97 days, 12 hours, and 52 minutes since my mother's heart had stopped beating. I couldn't help but mark that time, always aware of every minute the world kept spinning without her. That seemed crazy sometimes, absolutely insane that the universe could still exist without her, that I could exist without her. There were moments when it still didn't seem real, times when I could convince myself that this had all been a terrible nightmare, that I hadn't really watched her body slowly start to fail her, hadn't seen her struggle to even lift her hand to hold mine, that her skin hadn't turned so papery I could see right through to her veins. But it had happened. No begging, pleading, bargaining, or praying had kept her with me. My rock, my safe place, my best friend was gone. I shook my head, attempting to clear it. Forcing cheeriness into my voice, I asked, "How did your mom find out about this place again?" Carter was from Georgia, and we were currently in the middle of nowhere, Oregon. Carter twisted her fingers into a series of complicated knots at her side. "She has a sorority sister who grew up here. Told her it was pure magic. It is, right?" Pure magic was a perfect description. "It is." I snuck a peek at Carter again. Lines of worry creased her brow. I hated that I was the cause of it. "Thank you for bringing me here." A genuine smile tipped her lips. "I'm so glad you finally agreed."